practice done indoors?
Yeah, we came out and got practice started, went through our stretch, went through some special teams, a little bit individual, had some weather come through, and thought the guys did a great job of sudden change, so to speak. Talked about adapt, improvise, overcome, and went in and had a good day indoors.
Did you get everything accomplished that you went into the day hoping to?
Yeah, we didn't change anything from our practice. There's some spatial constraints in the indoor that kind of prevent us from doing some things. Lines on the other side of the field would help, but certainly didn't prevent us from anything that we looked accomplished today.
Saw some guys in red jerseys yesterday. Could you give us an injury update?
There's guys that are banged up in their day-to-day. If you have anyone specific, I can comment on.
Stephen Guidry?
Guidry, lower body, day-to-day.
Marquis Spencer?
Upper body, day-to-day.
Jonathan Abram?
Greg Island.
Cool.
Jonathan
Island and Abram.
Island, lower body, day-to-day.
Jonathan Abram.
Upper body, day-to-day.
So none of them are anticipated for lengthy
No,
absence?
sir. Not an extended period of time.
Has there been any conversation about Marcus Murphy position-wise, or is he at safety for the foreseeable future?
He's working at our nickel, the star position. He's working at safety as well, getting some reps there, and then working in the return game and special teams. So he got a lot on his plate right now. Obviously in the recruitment process and looking at him in high school and what he did on the offensive side of the ball. You want to best utilize your playmakers and give them an opportunity. But where he's at in his progression right now, we want to keep as little on his plate as he can, so he can master that, and then we can grow to other things.
Your thoughts on getting guys in full pads?
No, I thought it was great. Really didn't change how we operate any different than wearing uppers. But the thing, day 5, first day in pads. I've been very pleased overall with our preparation. It's apparent to me that the guys worked very hard in the summer on their own, and we're in the playbook. I'm excited about how the coaches are presenting the information to the players in the meeting rooms and how they're bringing that out on the field, and applying it between the white lines. So from that standpoint, I'm pleased. From an effort standpoint and a compete standpoint, I don't think effort's something, we certainly emphasize it, but if you're coaching effort at this level and, that's not something that they're willing to do on a daily basis and a play-by-play basis, then they shouldn't be playing at this level. And then, the biggest part is the execution and the precision, that this is a small margin of error league, and our missed assignments are going down, and we just got to continue working on that, fine-tuning that part. But, we talk about situational football, working on turnovers, explosive play margin. Got some third down in today. We'll get into the red zone tomorrow, hit a little 2-minute. So pleased overall.
How close are you in the install?
And the installs, quarter of the way through maybe. Yeah.
There's been so much talk since you got here about the passing game and the vertical passing game
Yep.
specifically. But if you go back and look at your stats last year at Penn State, it was pretty balanced, close to 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like your offense is maybe mischaracterized a little bit?
I don't think so. To a certain extent, the long passes, the explosive plays in that part of the game garner a lot of attention for good reason. They're fun to watch and exciting to call. But going back to probably our first year at Fordham, I don't think we deviated any more than 3% one way or the other. And I've kind of always talked about how the success of this offense is dependent upon our ability to run the ball successfully, and we do that. It forces defenses to crowd the line or put extra numbers in the box like they did at Saquon last year. And that the reason we've been successful in the pass game is we've been able to take advantage of one-on-ones because people were trying to stop the run.
Have you been able to do much in the return game with this early camp so far?
Sure.
Select some return guys.
Yeah.
You've worked on much there.
No, we Coach Buck handles the returners, and I think we've got a great plan with Coach Jones. So we've worked on when I say all 4 phases outside of PAT field goal block. We do that every day, but we've hit punt, we've hit punt return, we've hit kickoff, we hit kickoff return. So I wanted to make sure that we're emphasizing that and making a real strong push that special teams is going to be a phase that hopefully wins 3 and loses none for us.
How big is that group of guys competing for those spots?
For the return job?
Yeah, is it still a large group?
I'd say there's probably 6 guys getting reps at punt return, and we have a lead returner and an off returner, so there's probably four in each of those groups. And we'll whittle that down as camp progresses.
How does Kilby Lane fit into the linebacker core?
No, he's a guy that obviously has some experience from his time at Florida State, and ended up going to JUCO. And I think what it does is at a position where you're talking about Arrow and Willie Riley and Leo, and then he got a bunch of young guys behind him. We signed a lot of true freshman linebackers. He provides a little bit of experience and stability and some depth, and you know, he's doing a good job. I think he feels confident because he's done it before at this level.
You told us at media days that you'd like to see Fitzgerald around 65%
Yeah.
passing. That's a number only 2 QBs hit in the conference last year. Is that an example
Really?
for you? Yeah.
Yep.
Is that an example for you of when you talk about championship standard and good to great?
Yeah.
You set a high number on purpose.
No, that's actually, that number of 65 has kind of been, the completion percentage that's been our benchmark, for lack of a better term. Going back to probably 2012 and a little bit before that, because at UConn we were a little bit different offensively from a programmatic standpoint, what Coach Edsel wanted us to do. But I think we hit it just about every year at Fordham. I think Trace was 57 first year, 66 this year. So you get up right around that number. You get above 60, you're doing a good job. But we like to set the bar a little bit higher.
Big part of reaching that number is going to be intermediate throws, and
Yep.
Nick actually said that he wants to feel way more comfortable with those intermediate throws than he did last year. How's he looked with those first few days of practice, and how comfortable are you with him hitting those?
Good. I think, obviously Coach Brown and I have worked together for an extended period of time, and, the quarterback is, viewed as a coach on the field. So Nick's hearing it from, 2 voices hearing it from me, and Andrew's speaking the same language. And we're getting a lot of reps of 7-on-7, working a drop back game. And then we get into the team reps, a lot of runs, a lot of heavy play actions, and mixing in some drop backs. So he's getting work at, short game, intermediate game, long game. But I think, the drop back, intermediate and longer range rhythm throws, footwork, timing, pre and post snap reads, we're seeing a lot of growth there. It's been reflective in his because we charted it, it's been reflective in his completion percentage through 5.